What's going on, everybody? So tonight we're going to talk about Horizon Hobbies, and we're going to talk about the Timber X. Now, some of you may remember I had a rudder problem with the Timber X, and it wasn't available for just the rudder. So Horizon Hobby, when I called them and I said, hey, the rudder came off, I don't know if it wasn't glued right or what, they sent a new fuse kit out. I'm going to be putting a video up of the rebuild of it, of changing the fuse out, but it's back up flying again. So they sent a whole new fuse, and I was actually kind of surprised. They sent a fuse and a sticker kit for it. And hardly any questions asked. I mean, they just, what happened? Oh, the rudder fell off. And come to find out that there was a gluing issue with that one, and some of the hinges popped out, and that's why the rudder came off and was lost. So they didn't even question it. They just, all right, we're going to send you one out. I was actually a little bit shocked. I'd heard stories like this before, and I'm still, even now, as I'm going through my YouTube channel and comments and stuff, and then Love RC and I were just talking back and forth about his mini apprentice, that he had a problem with some of the rubber band holds that broke, and Horizon sent him out a new fuselage. I mean, that's unheard of customer service. I mean, yeah, Horizon Hobby is one of the biggest. That's why they're the industry leader, but they wouldn't be as popular as they are if they didn't have the customer service that they have. I know a lot of older hardcore guys are like, oh, that foam stuff. Well, let me tell you something. That foam stuff is getting more and more people into the hobby. It's getting more and more people to learn how to fly without having to go to a field and having somebody buddy box them all the time with the AS3X. I mean, I know a lot of people that fly AS3X and have never had an instructor or had anybody helping them. My wife, she's got an apprentice, and she's been flying, and she's doing fantastic with it. I mean, it's actually really cool to watch, and she's doing a great job. Well, the AS3X is helping that out a lot, and that's also going to help people that have kind of an idea how it works and are able to get the plane up in the air and fly it around and land it and fly it safely. So there's a lot to be said about it. But the Timber X was released in February, and we were fortunate to be one of the first ones to get it. And I had a problem with it, I think it was about probably the fourth flight or so, where the rudder separated, and I was without it for a couple weeks, and Horizon sent it out. I did shoot a whole video on it of changing it out. It's a little lengthy, but I got it cut down pretty good, but I'm going to put it up in 2 parts. But, when you start looking at the industry in itself, there was a point a few years back where, hey, if you got a problem, too bad. Sorry, there's no warranty. Horizon doesn't actually specify a warranty necessarily, but what I've seen of them lately, especially in about the last 2 years or so, if you have any problem with their product, they're more than willing to jump on and correct the problem. The old adage that you can have 10 people that say your product is awesome, and you have one guy that says it's bad, and you lose 100 customers. So I think they took that theory to heart, and they really do have a great customer service department within Horizon Hobbies. And there's a lot of these companies here that are starting to see that, we kind of have to do this. And it's a good thing, because it's like going to let's just say a mechanic shop. You go to a mechanic shop and you have a problem with something that they did, you bring it back, and if they just look at you and go, or you know what, too bad, you're on your own. Well, you're not going to go back there. Their business is going to be a one-time business. Now, I'm very fortunate that the company that I work for on my regular day job, the philosophy is if the customer is not 100% satisfied, then we're not done. We haven't done our job right. And that philosophy keeps people busy, because then your return customers turn into family, and those family members trust you. Well, Horizon Hobby has put themselves in that position to be trusted in the industry now. And that is worth $1 million, especially after a few years of, hey, I just got this thing out of the box, went to go maiden it, the servo that you glued in broke, or fell out, and the thing crashed. And they're like, wow, sucks to be you. And it's just, after hearing that from so many different companies, which, by the way, the company that told me that is no longer in business, go figure. So, it's just, when you start looking at the products and the amount of product that Horizon Hobby produces, and the quality of the stuff that they're doing now. I mean, the 300 3D, I absolutely am in love with that airplane. And, somebody goes, well, they didn't really design it. I don't care if they designed it or not. But what they have done to it, the changes they made, the bigger control surfaces for 3D and such, and they added the AS3X, which I'll be honest, I haven't used AS3X on this yet. But, the quality of this build is phenomenal. If you look at the quality of the foam on this airplane, it's just amazing. And it, for that kind of quality, and then you start looking at some of the other products that they work through. I'm drawing a blank right now, but they have so many different companies that Horizon now owns, and the quality of the builds that they're doing is amazing. But the quality of their customer service surpasses anything that they're making right now. They have the 8 to 10 rule. They'll build 10 models, 8 of them are pretty good, 2 of them probably weren't as good, and they're short-lived models. You'll see them disappear pretty quickly. Because if the customers aren't satisfied with it and they can't fix the problem right away, they'll just flat pull it off the market. And they've done it before. I've seen where there was one particular airplane that they had marketed, put it out, and they had an issue with it. There was a manufacturing issue. And Horizon contacted everybody that bought one and said, what can we send you in replacement, but we want it back because it's not the quality that we want. Well, even now, after dealing with them with the Timber X, that doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't. And now it has become, to me, what the industry standard should be. Yes, Horizon is a gigantic corporation and they can afford it, but they also can't afford not to, because there are plenty of other manufacturers out there. There's plenty of other model makers that are building really quality stuff, and they can take that business away from Horizon very, very quickly. No matter how big a corporation is, if they don't have good customer service, they're going to fail, and that's just the bottom line. So Horizon Hobbies, I give you a thumbs up because you guys have been taking care of business in every aspect that I can see so far. And I'm not a cheerleader for any one corporation or any one company, but I am a cheerleader for customer service. And Horizon Hobby, you know what, I've got a lot of Horizon airplanes. I'm not going to lie. I've got a bunch of them, but they're not always my favorite. So for me, that customer service is worth $1 million, and I hope it is to you too. I support Horizon Hobby because I know that they are coming out with quality products and products that I want, and that they, their customer service just beats all as far as I'm concerned. So there's some things I don't like, but everybody has their own preference. If you're into the bind and fly, there's no other way to go with Spectrum, because for every radio that you could possibly have, they have a setup for it in the manual. Oh, that's the other thing too. Their instruction manuals are second to none, because you can go and set that airplane up exactly like the manual says, and it will fly, and it'll fly pretty good. It may not be perfectly tuned to your style, but it is always a good starting spot. So for me, I'm not wearing Horizon Hobby t-shirts, and I'm not getting anything for free from them or anything like that, but the customer service is their selling point to me. The airplanes are almost secondary at this point. So you know what, if they continue to do that, they're going to continue to be strong in the industry. So that's just my thoughts on it. Anyway, this thing, if you haven't gotten the Timber X yet, you got to get one. They are a blast. If you have the old 1.5 like I have up here, I've got the old 1.5 Timber. That is still my go-to STOL airplane when I want to just sit there and practice short takeoff and landing. It's not aerobatic because I've got the slats on it, and the ailerons are too small, and the flaps only go one direction and stuff. I love that airplane. I also like twisting this thing like crazy. Now that I've gotten the CG figured out on it, where it's pretty middle of the road actually. I can do decent 3D stuff with it, but I can also do fast aerobatics with it, which it handles exceptionally well. This one I don't have the slats on it, so it doesn't slow down as much. But I will tell you this, with this airfoil, this thing flies as good inverted as it does right side up. And that, especially for a high wing airplane, is quite the accomplishment, you know. So if you don't have one, get one. You will enjoy it, absolutely. And it will fly on 3S, by the way. It does not have the torque, you know, obviously it's not going to punch out like a 4-cell, but it does do some awesome flying on 3-cell. So if you have a bunch of old 3-cell 2200s or 2600s around, it'll work in there. It'll work just fine. As a matter of fact, that prop that's on it from the factory works great with the 3-cell. Works good with a 4-cell, but not quite as well. So I actually changed this one down. I went to a smaller prop. I went to, instead of 13.6, I went to a 12.4, and it really liked it. So anyway, that's it for tonight. I'm done rambling. But, you know, if there's anything about Horizon Hobby that I absolutely love, it's their customer service, and I think a lot of people will agree with me. So thanks for watching, guys. We're getting more stuff going again. It's been a lot of fun lately. I'll be finishing up the video of changing the fuselage out on the Timber X, and I will get that one posted too. So thanks a lot for watching. We'll talk to you soon.